Warhammer 40k is arguably and obviously the most popular tabletop game in the world. But not only that, it has spanned out into so many other areas, and the lore has gotten so deep. There is books, fan-made videos, there is a video game series that became highly popular, and now they've released Darktide. Darktide is where you're taking back the city of Tertium from the hordes of bloodthirsty foes in an intense and brutal action shooter. It is a very interesting game, and it starts perfectly. This opening cutscene tells you exactly what you need to know. You are going to be thrown into the barrels, and you gotta fight your way out. Essentially, you are a prisoner, and as a prisoner, you have got to work. And being put to work, they're not going to sacrifice their soldiers for missions that may not be won. But you know what they will sacrifice? You got it. Prisoners. So this is your opportunity. Your fight. Your objective is to stay alive and follow orders for the Emperor. And it definitely has a great effect as an opening cutscene. I think it is incredibly well done on the beginning. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. When you start the game, you have to build your own character. It gives you 4 choices. It gives you a veteran sharpshooter, a zealot preacher, a psychonetic, and an Ogrin skullbreaker. So I chose the psychonetic, but I was tempted by the preacher and the sharpshooter. I think any of these classes could be really interesting, but I will talk later about how the classes interact with each other and how it might be best to play. They each have their own unique weapons and mods as well. And you also get to choose your own homeworld. It shows you all of the different homeworlds, gives you a small description, and lets you choose between them. Because if you are as invested in the lore as a lot of people are, I'm sure you have a favourite. And then it comes to your backstory. I haven't seen any effect on the gameplay from this, but you choose what happened in your childhood, what happened in your adolescence, what happened as your defining moment, and then you get to go into your appearance. The appearance is fairly customizable, and for those who are lazy, such as myself sometimes, there is a randomize button, so you can just create a completely random character. Once you have done the appearance, you get to choose the personality. This will change the phrases that they use throughout the actual mission. So how they interact with other online players. You don't have any say in what they say, but you choose the personality that leads to those. And then you choose your reason for being arrested, your sentence. Are you a derelict of your duty? Were you insubordinate? Did you have misplaced faith? Or did you have sedition? Most people may have picked this based on colour. I did. I chose sedition because I like blue, but each one has its own colour. Then you get to choose your name. I think it's really cool that you get to choose your own online name. It also gives you a little history of the backstory, and it can be randomised as well, because I know a lot of us do like to just see what names are available, see what they suggest. But obviously I didn't want Felicia, so I changed it to Harley. And then you finalise your reject. Once you create your character, you are thrown straight into basic training. This will teach you how to do light attacks, heavy attacks, and your special, as well as, basic dodging manoeuvres. After you've completed basic training, you do have the option to take advanced training. I said no, it's not mandatory, you don't have to. Basic training is mandatory, so be aware of that. But after that, you can leave it. The advanced training mostly deals with the jump hell stations and sliding and mostly stuff that if you've played any type of game like this before, you've probably done it's not too difficult to pick up. The controls are fairly regular. So once you've done all that, you end up in the main lobby. There's different things here that you can interact with. There's the Requisitorium that I didn't manage to unlock because I needed trust level 11, and unfortunately I was only 5. There is the Armory Exchange where you can buy better and upgraded weapons that have different effects, and then there is the Training Room where you can go at any point to do a small refresher on your training. So it's super simple to add a friend to your strike team. You just have to go into social, find your friend, click invite to strike team. You can see I failed here, but that was just a one-off. It didn't happen very often. Also in the center, in the green sphere, you can choose your mission. There is difficulty from 1 to 5, depending on the level of trust that you have. I picked a level 1 because my friend who was joining me had not yet played the game. And then you come into a lobby where you can see the other members of your squad and you can ready up. Ready for the mission to begin. Now there was a slight problem when being invited to a game. So when you're invited to a mission, you have the option to reject the mission. And if you do that, the team will not be entering the mission. However, if you want to accept, it's kind of strange. Where there is a decline, there technically isn't an accept button. It is in fact a blank screen where accept should be, which is a little weird. But I'm sure it's something that they will fix, hopefully before the next version comes out. The combat in the game is also really cool. So you can have hordes of enemies coming at you at any moment. And you can decide to hack and slash. You can use heavy attacks or light attacks. And there's also a variety of different movements that you can do, such as the pushback. Pushback is really cool because it can stop enemies coming at you. You can also explode people's heads if you are the type of class that I was, which was super cool, but how you've got to be careful because if your peril gets too high, you will get killed. So I was a big hack and slasher, heavy hitter, light attacks going everywhere. But I did like to mix it up with other movements. So you can also block and push. So the push that you do with the power, as my class, is different from the push you can do with your sword. So you can actually use the sword to push enemies back. It doesn't push them as much as the push for my character because that is a stun move. But, however, it's still a good way to orientate yourself with the enemies. And I think it's definitely a good feature to have been included. You can also revive your teammates. So if your teammates fall, then you have the option to pick them back up. However, what happens if you can't be picked up? So if you see here, I get knocked down to the ground, unable to get up. So the enemies will continue to attack at times. You can see that the guy on the right is continuing to attack me. The reason for this is they're getting my health down so that I can't be revived. We were in a bit of a pickle here, to be honest. This was a level 3 difficulty mission, and it is kind of to be expected. So once you've died, what will happen is you would then be put into a spectator mode, and you'd be able to watch what your other teammates are doing. This will only happen for a couple of seconds, however, because after you've spectated for a short while, as you can see at the top it says awaiting rescue. You will then appear captured somewhere later in the map, and it will be down to your teammates to come and get you. There are also some special enemies in the game, which are different from regular enemies. These include the hounds, which put you to the floor and destroy you. There's also these big beasts that can literally pick you up, hit you around and launch you. There are some trappers that will catch you in a net and you will need rescuing to get out of it. But there is health stations as you go through to help you stay alive, as well as pickup points where you can get loot, such as grenades, ammo boxes and health packs. We definitely did encounter some issues with the beta, however. For example, this match, where we were put in the very last second as everyone was dead, and we were unable to even enter before the game was just over. So that was kind of disappointing. There was also some issues with crashes. I think we had about 5 or 6 crashes between us over the 4 or 5 hours that I did play. I would, however, like to talk a little bit about the recover feature. So you can re-enter a match if the beta does crash. However, there are certain occasions where this couldn't be done, but we did successfully recover the match twice. So the feature does work even if it is slightly inconsistent. But it is also a cool feature to have included. So that's it. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Warhammer 40k Darktide closed beta. I had a lot of fun with the game. The game is, in fact, very, very fun. I'll also be including tomorrow an episode of one of the entire missions so that you can see from start to finish how the mission feels. But I had a lot of fun with this. There definitely is some issues. The bugs are obviously constantly being reported. I had a couple of crashes. There were some things that aren't quite right. But overall, I'd say a really good experience, and I'm looking forward to what happens when the full game comes out. So, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, leave a comment if you've got something to say. If you're excited about it, tell me you're excited about it. I'm proud of you for getting through today, even more proud of you for getting through tomorrow. Arrivederci, arrivederci, good assuras, all the way go. Peace. See y'all in the next one. Bye! Hey everyone! These Time to Improve beats have been brought to you by Stranger Games, the creator of Ashina the Red Witch and My Big Sister. Check them out below. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my real patrons. My tier 3 supporter, Hansel Panda, my tier 2 patron supporter, Suki SJ, and my tier 1 patron supporter, Danny. Your support allows me to make content as regularly as I do, and I am so grateful. If you would like to join the Royal Patrons, there is a link down below in the description. Thank you so much for everything you do for me.